comes to, you said raising the bar and these expectations, we kind of briefly went over brother Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels, right, is the OG Godfather. I mean, the brother, say what you want about the brother, and I know right now it's a culture shock for women, right?
Right.
Because he's speaking to a certain type of man. He's speaking to, if y'all aren't familiar with this brother, Kevin Samuels, follow his IG, y'all probably saw a viral video of him where he told this chick that she was average looking at best. So I'm pretty sure that struck a chord, right? But I feel like people pay too much attention to his method and not the message, right? And yeah, there's something to be said about how you convey your message, right? But at the end of the day, I don't have time to continuously sugarcoat and hold people fucking hands, right? Because if I'm conveying this message every day, all the time, it's like hey man, hey, what?
For those
you
who
ain't no
aren't-
fucking dime.
for those who aren't quite familiar, Kevin Samuels is a
Image
entrepreneur,
consultant.
image consultant. He's 51, somewhere around there, 51. Successful man. He usually makes conversation based on expectations from relationships, based on different factors, whether it's wealth, whether that's looks, whether that's, and he kind of just says like, hey, realistically, this is what should.
The seem like the standard for most women is they all want a quote unquote high value man. Not understanding that you're talking about 10% of men. Right. If you're talking about, if you're a black woman, and here's the thing, like, so this is the thing we gotta stop doing with the black community. If I'm a black man and I'm speaking about black women, I'm just speaking about the women in my community, the women that I normally date.
Right.
So don't take it as, you got to stop taking it as, oh, he hate black women.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not speaking to these other demographics. I'm speaking to the women in my community, right? And so now if you're talking about six-figure black men, right? You're talking about 1%.
Right.
So all of y'all want
The 1%.
1%?
The math.
So now if you start, so now that's where the ranking in the pecking order comes in, right? Because now if I'm the premium, right, I get to choose the pick of the litter. So now it's based off the criteria of what I want and not what you want. And that's what he keep talking to these women about, the great myth. The great myth is you've been told all your life you can have it all, right? But now you're realizing that because an older, successful man is always going to go for a younger, attractive woman. That's just is what it is. That's not just in the black community, that's in every fucking demographic. If you can, it's like technology, right? Like with your phones. You always want the new, latest, greatest. If I can afford anything, why the fuck would I go buy an iPhone 4?
Well, what he's saying and what Kevin was trying to convey to this woman was, if this single dude making six figures black man is on the market, and the lady that was asking the question, she was a lady out in North Carolina. She owned a pet growing business. She had the business for 9 years.
Yeah.
Had only been making six figures for 3 years. And, he was like, she was 35. She had a 13-year-old, he said sketchy baby daddy, that kind of shit. He was like, listen, for the small percentage of men that make what you want, when he lines up and looks at this, all these women that wants this six-figure man throwing himself at him, you will not be on the top, And it was more like, I'm just trying to help you manage the expectations. And she was more so, I feel like, I think this, I think that. He's like, well, you're not listening. You want what you want, but you can't get what you want.
It's not about what you want. It's what the men that you want.
Right.
That's the thing. Is
and
like,
you don't ask yourself that.
right. Like I'm a six-figure earning black man. When I step out into this world,
Ow.
I feel like
I'm a
I
6
have-
foot black man.
I have options. I could literally step out the house and get whatever I want. Just having that, you know what I'm saying? Like that. So I'm not picking shorty. Like I'm not picking her. Just, if she makes 6 figures or not, I'm not picking her.
Because it's like, I like how he breaks these women down, right? Like he asks, because he's basically saying it's not about what you want or what you think your greatest attributes is. It's what men in this position, what they looking for. So they looking for attractive women, right? So he asks them like, hey, what do you rate yourself? What's your dress size? Yeah. That there, right there, triggers so many women right there, right? Because you so used to being on social media in all of these tens of thousands of whatever basic ass dudes blowing up your fucking head and making you feel
because
like
where you from, you are the prize.
Right.
But when
Yeah.
you get
Go
into
somewhere-
these, when you get into these other groups, that's like it's like, oh, okay.
because the world
You
is
realize-
bigger than your city.
Exactly.
Like you talking about not just the black women in your city, but just the black women across the world and other countries.
And-
like there's some women that look exotic in that black. Right.
And it's not even the looks all the time. It's kind of just what, like, okay, if you're going on face value, if you walk around,
But
look
we
will be
we
the thing
can't act
pull
like
you
that's
in.
just not a part of the ranking
No,
system.
it's definitely a part of the ranking system. It gets you points early in the game.
Yeah.
Now, does it keep you in the game? Maybe not. But I like how Kevin was doing it because he was asking this lady these questions. He never called her out on anything, and was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna ask you these questions, and based off what you give me, he did it like a therapist would.
Right.
He will ask you questions and hopefully to help you uncover. Like, you see what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
You see what you're saying. You see what you're doing, and this don't make sense, and then it always got counteracted. But I feel what you feel isn't what was going
It's
on.
not,
So
it's
he's
not
like, well,
relevant in the world. It's not relevant in society. Like, he talks about what I love to say is like the great myth, right? Like, men control access to relationships,
Right.
in marriage. Women control access to sex, right?
Right.
The great myth is that you've been told you can have it all, right? You've been told that. I bring this up because we spoke about this, right? Like CJ one time mentioned he got married like when you were younger, right? What age was you?
I was 20.
You was 20, right? And I remember thinking like, damn, that's mad young, right? But then like after listening to the brother Kevin Samuels, I'm like, nah, you was actually like right there around like the cuff of that of the ripe age, right? Because you think about it, like too many women, like there's you gonna, what you have to realize is there's going to be a cost to pay, right? If you sacrifice marriage for career, there's going to be a cost, right? You wait until you 30, 32, because he even talked about how sometimes a woman's finances could hinder them, right? Because you make so much, now you want somebody to come to the table making what you making, right? But the men who you looking for don't give a shit about your money.
Yeah.
And he say that all the time, like, you women, some of you women don't be looking for a husband, y'all be looking for a wife.
Right. That's a fact.
You looking for a submissive man, right? But these high value men are not these submissive types, right?
Right.
But then also, some of them have, you have a child early, right? They might even get married, they have a child early, right? Child is like teenage age or, 10 or something like that, right? I like how he says, like, think about it, in what other species is it an asset for a male to raise another male's offspring?
Right.
That hurts a lot of women right there, right? Because it's just like,
The only reason, not to cut you off, the only reason why I see that as an asset is that the women who have kids are typically more like reserved, settled down. They're not running wild, typically. I mean, they could be, but
I
Typically,
think
they got shit to lose.
I think what he talks about sometimes is like the damage. One, the byproduct of having like that kid's father, right? Because if you got a younger child now, if that father's in that child's life, so now we can't just get up and go. We gotta hire a nanny, right? If we're going on vacation. Then too, we got to get permission from the child's father in order to go somewhere. If he don't want the child to go, then that's a problem. If the child don't want to go because the child has an issue with this new relationship, now I'm on vacation with you and this child that's throwing temper tantrums and shit. All of that is taking consideration that benefits you when he can just get this young single, childless woman. It's like, basically what he talks about is like, all I hear from you women is what a man of this caliber can do to alleviate some of the problems in your relationship, but you asking the person to take on this baggage for what? And I like, what's his incentive to do so, right? And I say all that to say, like, I think is all of this is to say, like, why is it the requirement is that this person has to have 6 figures? Why do they have to just be like this set?
Yeah, I don't know why that
that's an arbitrary number that society has put out that says this is what success is, 6 figures.
Yeah.
Which honestly, having been made like 40,000, like I was in the military making like 30,000, 40,000 a year. I was stable then. See what I'm saying? Like, you can be stable making 30,000, 40,000 and be more stable than somebody who makes 6 figures because they spend more.
They spend more. They make less. They make more. They think they have to spend more.
Right. Exactly.
Right? And so, and I think that's where a lot of the irritation comes from, right? Because you think about it, like, going back to what I was saying earlier about the great myth is that, and what you getting married is, there was this one woman that called in and she talked about how all of her friends were married from college. Like, a lot of her Jewish friends, they married either while in college or right after college, right? To where she decided to pursue her career further. Now she's 35 and she wants a family, but it's like after 35, you high risk for pregnancy, right? So it's just like, you think about it, like a lot of these other cultures, they marry earlier. Like, you even think about like your grandparents. Right. You find out your grandparents probably, grandma and grandpa met. Grandpa was like 17, grandma was 14, right? And we look at that like, right?
I mean, the world was smaller then. It wasn't.
Not just that, but these people lived in the same community for years. These families knew each other. They didn't move around. So it's like those two probably dated on some girlfriend-boyfriend shit since they was like 9 and 10. Right. And then when Pops was old enough to, because men had houses and shit earlier, it was more stable. But make no fucking mistake about it, like, grandpa and your daddy wasn't no fucking angel, and they find out about this shit at the funeral. God damn it, when the other kids pop up. Yeah. Now y'all arguing about who the fuck was his real family and shit. Like, so nothing. Like, let me ask y'all this: what has changed about what is expected of a man? Has anything changed?
Nah, but
provider, protector. What has changed?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I feel like the only thing that has changed is now there's more expectations. Like, now we have to do all the providing, everything that comes with that, and on top of that, we have to be, we got to kind of like water ourselves down. Water our masculinity down,
and take your shit, right? And then you deal with so many of these women that have this quote unquote masculine energy, and it's just like, look, society has lied to so many women, and told them that we are equals. We are not. We just not. We're not physically equal, and it's not to lessen you, because there are things that you can do, there are things that you're capable of. There's value that you bring to a man's life. But did y'all see that recent episode where he asked that woman? I can't remember her name, but she's a dancer out here. I was actually following her before that. I had to unfollow her because she was just so. But he said, if Thanos snapped his finger and he snapped all the men away, do you think women can live to survive on their own to the end of their days? And this woman said, yeah. And he was like, you out of your French toast mind, right? Because you're not physically capable to manipulate the environment. Like, man, you're just not physically capable. Right. It's like, let's keep it 100, man. We are not the fucking same.
Right.
I mean,
Man, and it's only women that make that argument about being equal to men. Men don't make that argument about being equal to women.
Right.
Well, men see that as a less than. They see that as more of a negative feature than a positive.
Why? When them motherfuckers, their influence right now is, they able to cripple men with just an accusation. So the influence of women is probably like more powerful now than it's ever been, right? I just feel like there's an overcorrection. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's an overcorrection, and that's always through time. There's always going to be an overcorrection, right? But then you do that so much to the point where you become almost akin to the same type of person in doing the same types of things that you complained about. Right. And then there has to be an extraordinary event that kind of swings the pendulum back. Mm-hmm. That's just fucking humanity.
I mean,
bro.
that's everything happening nowadays. There's too much one way, not enough the other way, and then too much on the other side, not enough on the other side. So just like we have all these, what we're talking about, the 6-figure man. There's a lot of women that just, some people just want attention.
Right. Like you said, like the lie has been told that you can have it all. You can have love, you can have great sex, you can have stability, you can have attraction. You got to be attracted. You want all that shit. You want to be attracted to motherfuckers. You want them to be fuck the shit out of you. You want
yup.
you want that motherfucker to be faithful. You want all that shit. It's just like,
I mean, it's possible.
Is it?
We don't want to say like it's not attainable.
Well, we're not talking in absolutes, right? But we just saying like, based on the numbers, if everybody wants this same type of motherfucker,
right,
then
what makes it special?
But
yeah,
I think B. Simone brought up a great point this week. I think she was talking about how the women, they want all these things, they have all these high expectations, but what are they bringing to the table? Do you meet that man's expectations? Are you able to provide value in his life?
Well, that's the thing. Like, nobody's even having the conversation with men to find out what those expectations are. You just telling me what you think your best attributes are, right? But if a man tells you, I don't find that valuable, I don't need that. Like, I don't need somebody.
I've had that conversation, and that shit will break a woman. Like, I said, it was a time where a woman was telling me, well, I cook, I clean, I this, that. I was like, I've been living on my own since I was 18. I can do all that shit too. I don't need you for that.
Yeah.
I need XYZ from you. Right? And that shit broke her down. Like, well, this is because they are taught to think that that's their value. Mm-hmm. But it's like, nah, I value other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Because a lot of women are, quote unquote, as the brother would say, pretty rich.
Yeah.
They're pretty rich.
Yep.
Their prettiness is their currency, right? And it's tough for them when they come across a man of substance that says, that shit don't shake me.
Yeah, I need more than that.
Right? And they can disregard that dude as a quote unquote goofy or a weak man because there's so many other men to the contrary, right? Mm-hmm. That it twists what you think a man of substance is, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, men are more than just a fucking paycheck and penis.
They're getting their ideals off of Instagram though, off of social media. They're looking at social media. Oh, this nigga is portraying to be this or that, and they go for that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, that's what I want.
You see the Sweeties and Quavo. You see the Offset and what's name. Everybody be fucking goals. That's the shit that irritates me. Everybody online be fucking goals, and I be like, but you act like your fucking auntie. Your auntie and those ain't been married for 40, 50 years. Why the fuck ain't they goals?
Right. That's a fact.
Why the fuck ain't they goals?
Because they wanted to.
Because it ain't no extravagant gifts.
They wanted to look a certain way.
Yeah, ain't no fucking.
But also,
Bentley's
also to that though is like it's goals because these niggas are low key simps.
Yeah,
Offset is a fucking simp.
I get simp energy from Quavo, definitely, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I definitely get simp energy from it, and it's not so much that
Is it simple or is it like I just fuck with you and I want to like? Is that considered
that
simp?
exists, but
It's based off pretty much. I think the energy that the woman displays, like around him, or how she talks about him, or like she tells women like if he ain't doing this and this, throw him back to the streets. So it's basically you just basically saying the only reason why you fucking with this dude because he taking care of your
I see what you're saying.
So it's like that's simplest behavior right there. Now, granted, one size doesn't fit all, right? You can't tell somebody how to rock with their relationship, right? But at the same time, it's like stop making everything so publicized,
Cookie cutter,
like people. We you see somebody put up the post saying like, "Hey y'all, don't be fooled. It ain't all W's. Everybody don't post their L's." But it's just like when it comes to other people's relationships, we only want to accept the best of that. Like, no, motherfuckers really be fucking people. Like this shit is just it's publicists.
Yeah. Right. We want to make sure whatever's put out there is the best version. Like we don't want no negative shit.
Like all this shit work. Like
real shit happens.
Like Trey Songz, whatever that shit was. That's pop. That shit is all like planned.
right.
I guess he put out some video or picture or some shit.
Wouldn't get ahead, whatever that shit.
Yeah,
was.
it's just like all this shit is publicists. and women constantly fall for this bullshit, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like if a man speaks to it, it's just like, oh, he hating. It's like, nah, because I'm not finna let you hold me to them bullshit ass standards. Because one, them motherfuckers in a different bracket, right? And I like how Kevin Samuels say, like, when he talking about high value men, he talking about men in business, right? Like not athletes and what's the name, right? Because not that it's a disposable income, but it's just like it's not like you. I don't know. Maybe like you just didn't have to earn it. Like you didn't build this,
right?
Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like it's one of those like hard work pays off kind of things.
Yeah, because you have more like your spending even is different, right? Because like I mean, I'm around like these types, right?
Yeah, now you gotta get this house.
You see the spending, right? Even as a barber, like you kind of get caught up in that mindset sometimes, right? Because it's just like you making cash money every day, or you make something. So it's just like, oh, I can go buy this. This ain't nothing but one haircut or two haircuts, right? So you get in that mindset. It's not like you trying to sustain a business. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, kind of wrapping it up some, I just think the brother speaks to a certain type of man, right? That has like self-confidence, right? Because I'm tired of just talking to men who only tell me like what they mama told them or some shit like that. I'm like, yo, what did your dad tell you? What did your uncle tell you? It's like a lot of these men haven't been versed on how to be a man or what to expect from a woman. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like they only know how to grow up and cater to a woman. And that's only one aspect of being a man.
Yeah,
but if you only get that, this is why some of these brothers fucking snap because if your car fucks up, right, you know to take it to a repair shop. Your house fucks up, you know to call a repairman in. But if this woman that you've been told to attain this wealth and stability, and you can get a woman that looks like this, and then she doesn't act like what you expect, this is how some of these motherfuckers snap and they become violent, right? Because they don't know how to handle that. They don't know how to be like, oh, get the fuck out of here because it's thousands more like her. You know what I'm saying? They feel like, no, this is mine.
Right.
This motherfucker ain't acting right.
Right. I've seen it.
Reset.
I've seen it. There was a story that came out from back home. A dude, I guess he found out his girl was cheating. He beat her to death and then killed himself. And now these were like the hometown hero. He was like the hometown hero of my city, like situation like that. So I mean, but that's like not being taught that abundance mindset, that there are 7 billion people on this
that's,
earth.
That's also not being taught emotional strength and emotional,
Right.
Indeed.
Because that's all everything. A car, or house, that like that's
Right.
that's tangible. There ain't no emotion tied to it. When you get your emotion tied into something, and when you start to believe and feel a certain way, and some shit don't go that way, and you have been taught like, especially when you feel like shit should go your way because everything else has. When that shit start changing, it's like, well, how you gonna like? What should you do?
Right.
Like some people have been taught or been in that situation to know, or even at a younger age where they had some experience with it.
And a lot of times, if young men don't have, I mean, I feel like there should be some man around, right? Like if it's not your father, grandfather,
Right. Somebody from the neighborhood.
yeah, somebody from the neighborhood or something. But if not that, of all things, you used to be able to get these lessons at the barbershop.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Like you used to be able to get these lessons at the barbershop, but now like barbershops is like weird now. Like, you know, mamas used to didn't even sit in the barbershop. Sometimes they just send a kid in there, sit in the car. It's like you introduce women into the barbershop. Now you got a whole lot of capping in there. Dudes don't even want to talk how they talk because now everybody trying to fuck on mama.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they loud talking and yeah, I told that nigga like I pulled out the
Accidentally dropping hundreds. Oops.
yeah. Oh,
Right.
man.
So we pulled up in the Bentley, right?
Yeah. We put up in the Bentley like shorty looking. Yeah. It's like man, stop that, man. Right. But nah, man, this has been a great episode, man. It feels great to be back in the groove, man. We potentially got some things coming up. We ain't gonna talk about right now. Tavis already giving that look like hey, bro. I wasn't even about to say nothing. Tavis is like the quality control, like off some shit like that. Like, nope. We haven't confirmed that, sir.
Yeah,
like,
we got to produce ourselves.
Yeah. We got some things coming up, man. Some things in work, man. Some big things. So it's like I appreciate y'all rocking with us week to week and the lapses, but know that it's because we trying to iron out the kinks and, you know, we have resources, we got connections, right? And we, you know,
production and consistency. That's what we trying to get everything.
So, you know, ride with us though. You know what I'm saying? This thing will be on audio platforms soon as well. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, like shit. I mean, I'll be lining myself up for y'all. So fuck y'all. Y'all gonna take these little pussy ass videos. No, man.
Thieves out.
Thieves out.
You won't finna give me again. Like,